Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Weekman. Of course, our co-host, Mitch Glenn's here, and he's also in charge of the director of music, the director of Silver Bullets. He's in charge of almost everything.
I catch the manners.
Man, we are excited. Pump us up. Tell us who's here.
Man,
tell us, and tell him his position.
We are very happy to have Mr. Lance Hughey on our pro staff now, as there is nobody better at minnow rigging that I know of. And here he is, Mr. Lance Hughey.
Yeah.
we anoint you pro staff.
There you have it, folks. Live crowd. So studio's crowded today.
Yep.
We got
calm yourself. Calm yourself.
Keep the people in the background.
Y'all go back to work, man.
Yeah, well, you could sell more stuff and you could get them ordered.
I know, stock them shelves.
That's right. Hot things going on, but let's talk about some of the stuff, Lance. Excited to have you on our pro staff, and
great to be part of it.
Man, I tell you what, you have handfuls of stuff.
Yeah.
So why don't you just well, first of all, tell us how you met Mitch, because we want to know a story. So I'm sure that was one.
I've met him. I've just known him through Facebook, social media. I didn't really meet you personally. I think maybe
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Hot Springs.
We met you at Hot Springs. Yeah. Bump into you at the bait shops. You know, just always kind of just knew who each other were.
Well, I remember seeing you out on the lake. I'd pull in somewhere, and I'd see you over there throwing fish in the floor, and I'm like, oh, crap, let's find someplace else. Ain't no more. He's got this under control.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of just around about, I'd see you.
Yeah.
And we always just knew each other, and just kind of met that way. So,
well, I've never seen anybody better with a set of spider rigs than you.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy doing it. People say it's boring. I don't see how they see it's boring.
I literally have. You probably didn't know I was watching you, but I literally have sat and watched you picking fish up and laying them in the floor of the boat, and just like a machine, and just coming in with them like that.
I know if he was using crankbaits, we'd have to color one and name it the machine.
Yeah. The Lance machine.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So Lance is such a good selection because he's using a lot of obviously we're joking about it. Mitch is over there with the minnow net, and we talk about him using, but he uses lots of terminal tackle. And Mitch just happened to pull in because Pico Lures now has a line of tackle.
We are a distributor for Vanguard Tackle now.
Yep.
Which is probably some of the broadest line of terminal tackle, anything from lines to swivels to snaps to split rings, hooks, you name it, bobbers, all kinds of bobbers, stringers, fillet knife sharpeners, pliers, clippers, you name it, we've got it. It's all one big broad line, and it benefits everybody in the community that way.
Yep. So, Lance, tell us a little bit. You picked some of this selection out, so you've been using it for a while.
Yeah.
So tell us about terminal tackle. Talk about quality of the products, and
Well, I mean, I'm using the half ounce, the egg weight.
Right.
That's the basic weight I'm pushing right now through the winter and part of spring.
Go-to rig.
And then I've been using the gold hooks, the Aberdeen. This is a size 1, but usually I'm using a size 2.
Right.
I got hooked on them. I mean, Mitch, we talked, and he's like, "Man, that's all I use is gold hooks." And I was like, well, "I'll try them out." And I mean, they've been catching the fish, and they're a stiffer hook. I mean, than what I was using. So when you set the hook, they're pretty stuck on there, and I'm just go ahead and sling them on in. Don't really worry about grabbing the net,
Right. I wish I had that problem.
We like hooks.
They're just big fish. I need bigger hooks, stronger hooks.
We like hooks around here. We built a jig head with a number 1 hook in it.
Yeah.
I've boat flipped 4-pound bass with it. It hadn't straightened it out on a crappie jig.
So,
what else are you using on your spider rig?
It's just a size 7, the 2-way barrel swivel. I use that. That's just for pre-tying. So I'll
Right.
come down, I'll do a 2-way, and I'll come down and do a loop overhand loop knot, and then cut the knot, and
Okay.
have my size 2 hook there, and then I'll run down 22 inches, do my weight both ends, and then I'll have about a 9-inch, 8-inch leader underneath with another hook,
Right.
or I've been using the jig heads too,
I got you.
the scope eye.
Right.
And I really like those too. I mean, it's not just because I've seen it on scope. I mean, it's a well quality painted jig head, and it's got a good stiff hook on it, and they really like that. I'm really liking those too.
Yep.
And then the line, I've been tying up the line, been using the line it carries.
The 4-flex.
The 4-flex. I'm using 8 or 10 pound.
Yep.
And just tying it up. It's a clear line. It's a good strong line. And
So you're tying them up. What are you wrapping them around? Do you got a poo noodle, or what are you tying your leaders around?
man, I have so I'm part of B&M. I get a lot of their minnow rigs too.
Right.
But they have like that little red thing that comes with it that you loop it around. It comes in a package. I just recycle those.
Oh,
and
good.
I just use those, and I have, I don't know, 50, hundreds of them things. So I'll tie up hair jig, kind of like a hair jig rig. I'll tie up jig rigs. I'll tie up these. I have 1 ounces. I have 2 ounce. I just have all these rigs tied up. I just got my whole storage container. Everybody's got their baits. My whole storage container is rigs of different variations of rigs.
Wow.
It's just, don't move it. I won't know where you put it.
Yeah.
Did you
no
see
sense asking what you're doing during a snowstorm?
No.
Then really.
Yeah.
Have you seen marabou jigs that Mitch has?
I've seen them.
cards?
I've seen them on websites. Seen them at the store.
Haven't broke out and used one yet.
I haven't broke out one.
Well,
used one.
before you leave here, you probably will have
I'm
some.
all interested in.
We need to
trying
get
it.
you in some bunny butts too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buds.
I just.
But no bunnies were harmed.
No.
Okay.
That's right.
But that's basically the rig. It's
Right.
it's a kind of a tricky rig. I like to get my inches and my distance between everything right. So when I put it down, I know exactly what depth they're at. And, I don't like that one's 3 foot long and one is 2 foot long.
Are you using a line counter reel, or are you just using your rod?
I'm using my rod.
Okay.
So I go by I count down, or you can even see on live scope now how deep they are. It's so much easier. But when I didn't have live scope, I was like, okay, from the front of the reel to about the B&M label, that's about a foot.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll start say like the rig's 2 foot long, 24 inches or something, and I'll start at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll add about, say like if I want to have them 6 feet deep, I'll count down 7, so they sit about 6 feet.
Well, let's talk a little bit about depth. How do you know where you're going to set your rigs at when you get there? Let's just say you're going out tomorrow and you're going fishing. How do you know where? Are you going to look around first and do some fishing? Or are you how are you going to find that where they are?
A lot of it's past experience is knowing where they're at. I've been fishing Beaver for 10 years, and I know, okay, these fish ought to be here. And then I'm fishing. You don't really have to judge much because I'm in 10 foot of water, 7 foot of water. So I'm not having to go down. Yeah. Like that far. It's like,
they feed up, so start up here,
I'll start high and go. But previous trip, they were all the way smushed on the bottom. I swear they were playing. I made a post. I swear they was like playing limbo with my baits. They were just, you'd go over them and it's like, don't touch it. They just smash themselves further
lay on their side like a flounder.
I was just like, man, they just act like they just don't even want to touch the minnow.
And that's live bait.
That's live bait.
So what do you do, Mitch, when they get on the bottom like that and they're really hugging? Do you you're using a jig?
I drag a tube on the bottom.
A tube? Like, tell us your rig. What are you using? Scope eye jig and what?
At that point in time, doesn't really matter. But usually I want it in their mouth.
So what size?
When I see them on the bottom like that, I'll use a tube insert head when it comes to that on a 2-inch tube.
I've tried.
And I will absolutely hold bottom contact the whole time.
What size head you using? And what head?
16th to an 1/8.
16th or an 1/8.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you're not moving very fast then.
No. No. When I see them like that, I will absolutely drag it on the bottom like you was trying to catch a spawning bass or something.
Yeah.
And it's the worst bite you can ever hope to get.
I mean, you got to be pretty trained though.
You really do, because you ain't never going to feel a bite.
It's
just all of a sudden you're not making contact with the bottom
That's
anymore.
the way a lot of it was. I mean, the water temp was 56 like a previous trip, and then dropped down to 46. So them fish were pretty shocked.
It's kind of like I was. Yeah.
So I mean, when they pull, I mean, you just kind of see a little bit of weight on them, a little bit of weight added to the tip, and you just set the hook.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of.
It's some of the biggest fish you'll catch all year.
Though.
The bottom huggers are they're the dominant dominant fish.
Fellow was out there. I think he caught like a 14, 15-inch crappie, and he's like, boy, he barely even pulled on. I was like, yeah, that's what them big fish do when they're down there. They ain't going to, you know. And,
there's a spot or two in one of our mutual creeks that when it gets that tough, I know that's where they're at. And, and it's painstakingly slow to get bit.
Yeah.
But man,
when you get one, it's going to be a good
dandies that way.
It's going to be a good one.
So you're spider rigging. What kind of speeds are you looking at?
I mean, it's a snail's pace. I'm still.
Snail?
I mean,
really
0.3. I mean, it's just like bump. Like you're like at 0 on the trolling motor remote. I mean,
Right.
0, you go to a half, stop.
Yeah.
Half. I mean, live scope now. I mean, I'm constantly panning, so I see the fish and I'll kind of go at them and then I'll slow down once I get to them, you know, and I'll just kind of sit on top of them, basically. You know, they don't want to move it when it's that cold. It's even worse when it's 37, 38 degree water temp, and they're smushed even further. I mean, you just got to kind of sit there on top of them, and then they'll come up and hit it. I mean, sometimes, a lot of times it's just a little light bite, and then you'll have one that'll come off like a stump. Or it'll come off the stump like it's. And I just love that.
Yeah.
I just love that. I mean, it's just, you see them coming, you know they're coming, and that pole just buries you, just like.
Before live scope, though, you didn't even know that was going on.
But I just love it. It's just when that pole goes down five eyelets, you're just like, let's get you going.
So you had some, I saw you had some Vanguard, you had some Vanguard tools there. So what did you pick out that you thought was cool?
I thought the clippers were pretty cool. I mean, on the fly, cutting if you had to tie something, cutting the tail, the tag in. I mean, even tying that. I mean, I don't have my wife won't let me use the KitchenAid scissors at the house.
Oh, really?
So I use my little girl's little craft scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the ones you can't ever get off your fingers.
Can't get off my finger. So it's just, so that'll work perfectly for that, you know. And it's and then the pliers, you know, messing with, you know, getting the hook out. I mean, especially you still catch the catfish and the gar.
Those got pretty decent side cutters.
Yeah.
In them too.
So I mean, you can cut it too. So I mean, they're good quality handle on them, good quality pliers to them. You know, that's what's nice. I mean, it ain't. It's inexpensive in its quality.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean,
some of this stuff, like your fishing line, comes out of South Korea.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is coming from better places.
Yeah.
And we were at church the other day, and we got out of church. I'm walking out of the parking lot, and Lance is driving up, and you know we're visiting for a second. I look over and I said, well, of course, he didn't have his wife or anything, but he did have his minnows in his passenger seat in the front.
Did he have a seatbelt around him?
He had a seatbelt on him. I need to start doing
that. He needs to.
Much as they cost these days, you better buckle them in.
So tell us the reason why. I know we had talked about minnow nets, and Mitch had talked about minnow nets before on another show, and he's got a small minnow net.
Oh,
so you look like
floater.
You look like you're for little minnows, and he looks like he's serious. Minnow guy.
Well, we brought the king in here, man. I'm an amateur at this minnow stuff.
I got a 30 quart, 30 quart minnow bucket.
He does this stuff on purpose.
You know, I just scoop them up and I leave them right there.
I got you.
And so when I reach down, I can just grab them real easy. You know, I mean, so the bucket's on the side of me, and I just scoop them, and they'll stay there the whole trip.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to. That one, it's just so small. I mean, it'll float, but then it won't lay sideways.
Big
you know,
bucket.
I'm
yeah.
picky, you know. I just
There you go.
I got to have it where it ready to go. So yeah, that.
So if you're in the store and you're wondering, you're going to buy your husband or your spouse who likes to minnow fish. If you're looking at two different ones, now you know the reason why there's two of them.
Yeah.
And probably a good choice to get that wooden one. Don't you think?
Yeah.
How do you know which one works better? Do you always go with the smallest minnow, or do you always go with the biggest one?
You know, I always I let the fish kind of tell me what to do that day.
Yeah.
I like small minnows. I mean, and I mostly try to stay with the medium size. I never like them ones that they look like they jumped in from the brooder tank over into the. You know,
this isn't Grenada.
Grenada.
I'll go ahead and scoop it out because my hand always tends to grab that big one because it's always right there, and I'll just throw it on out.
Yeah, Grenada's a whole different world.
So I mostly stay with the 2-inch to a small one, you know, and
they're small crappie minnows down there. The striper guys down there would eat up.
And you showed the scope eye jig heads that you're using some of those.
Yeah.
You're using those and tell us again how you're using those. Are you using any just artificials like with the tube or a pointer shad?
I'm using a tube, a plastic jig. I mean, it's just different plastics that I've had success on.
Okay.
Tube jigs, red and white tube jig, pink and white tube jig.
Yep.
That cold water, I just love pink and white and red and white. Once it gets cold, I like red and white and pink and white. And the tube, and then I'll still tip them in on it. I'll put a little bit of small over minnow just so they can, I don't, I'm not feeling my pose. I don't feel a thump. I feel a thump with my eyeballs. So, I sit there and so I have a little minnow on there so they go ahead and lock down on it. Then you set the hook on it. But
I gotcha.
But that's basically my jig rig.
And Mitch, how'd you came up with these so that it's sad because they actually your plastics last longer on these hooks. Why do they last longer?
Well, we put that wire keeper on those things. Yeah. So now you can rig something like a tube onto that jig head. Yeah. You don't have to have a tube insert head. You can rig that on there, and I think my record so far has been like 18 fish on one bait.
Yeah.
And then I only lost it because I hung it on a boat dock. So I mean that thing will hold a plastic, till you're tired of it.
Right.
Yeah, dynamite.
Yep.
That's what I got to say.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Anyway, that takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time's all about Pico lures and Vanguard lures. Wait, that's what we've been talking about the whole time. Maybe we should just have Lance do it.
Can we do a visual tip?
Sure, do a visual tip.
I'll try to teach Lance something about rigging a minnow.
Okay.
Run, go get me a tube.
A tube. Got it.
Don't care what side. Just pick one of them big bags and bulk bags in there and grab a tube. I'll show you a trick.
Okay.
Grab one of your jig heads out.
You just need this one?
It don't matter.
All right.
Tip of the day right here.
This will be good.
Yep.
I already get it there. Oh, well. Don't stab yourself.
To your right. To your right. To your other right. Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
So
pink and white. Yeah.
So here's a minnow rigging, tube jigging tip of the day right here. Okay. So you're going to take your scope eye jig head. You're going to take your tube, all your little tentacles, spread them out like that.
Pop them in my mouth.
Reach right in here in the middle. Pull them out there like that. Now you got split legs.
Okay.
So you're gonna bring that in there, rig it on your tube, so that those split legs are sticking straight out like on the side like that.
Mm-hmm.
Punch that dude up there on there like that. Now you got a split right there. When you rig your minnow, you got little keepers to hold on to keep minnow and keep him warm and everything till he gets eat.
There you go.
And that would be your tip of the day. Right
Looks
there.
like Lance is taking your lure. You just lost that.
There we go.
Well, where'd he go?
Yep. There we go.
That's
Another
also
one
an
you just
interesting
gave
way
away.
to rig a tube when you want a little different action too.
Yeah.
Take the middle tentacles out and it gives it a double tail action that way.
We'll do a tip on that. Like we'll do a video. So if you were listening to us on the podcast show, you'll be able to find that on Pico Lures on their Facebook page or Instagram.
Sure.
So you can look there to find that. Lance, we didn't do the end of tackle time. If you want to find out more about Pico Lures or Vanguard Lures or Vanguard Tackle, make sure you go to their website at picolures.com. If they want to find out more, I guess the other big news, the big release is someone's got a guide service.
That's
so
right.
This makes 3 guides.
Yeah.
Because Mitch was a guide and I was a guide.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm just going to start up. I'm starting up January 1st. First of the year, just everything should be good to go. I'm just waiting till after the holidays to get going.
Right.
You got a website up now, though,
Yeah,
right?
I got it. I launched it last night up. I finally got my wife to proofread it.
There you go.
But yeah, it's lhcrappieguide.com.
There we go.
So and then
can they book an appointment on there?
They can go ahead and start booking. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I'm getting some spots already filled in. So I mean, yeah, just contact me and
All right.
we'll go from there.
There you go.
You know.
So, and they're going to contact you off the website.
They can.
Those are the
There's a
other
link
places?
that'll call me or email me or you can send a
All
thing that way or come through Facebook. You know.
right.
There we go.
That sounds good. So we do know that you got a 250 on your boat.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty dang big engine, my friend, for a 17-foot boat.
Yeah. Yep.
Tell the story behind that. We got
Fish
time.
with
Tell
him
us
and
the
you'll
story.
never get there last.
Tell the story. Like
It's just it's a 50 horsepower motor that I just having fun with putting with big guys with big boats, and I just I got a big old sticker. It's a big old 2 in front of my 50. and underneath it, I changed. Underneath it, I put "send it."
Yeah.
It's awesome, baby.
I get more compliments on that. Some guy pulls up in a nice Ranger boat with the 250 and says, "That made my day right there." If it makes you laugh, makes you smile,
That's right.
Yep.
Pretty
just
awesome.
having fun.
That wraps it up, man. All I can say, appreciate you, and
Appreciate
pretty
y'all.
awesome
Appreciate
to have Mitch, of
Yeah.
course, the owner of Pico Lures here, and
You found
newest-
me.
yeah,
You
found him,
Tracked
and,
me down.
and Lance, the newest pro staffer
right.
for you. And
Happy to have
man,
him
what
aboard.
what a
Glad to
great catch right there.
Yep.
Can I say that? Great catch to have Lance come on, because it fits right into that Vanguard tackle. It's it's high quality products at an affordable price, and that's what you're looking at.
Right.
And now you can go to Pico Lures.
We
and
even
it's
got
a
catfish hooks back there, man.
Yeah, it's a one-stop shop. So now you can go, and we didn't even say our crankbaits. Didn't even talk about crankbaits, but one time we will,
Yeah.
But
By
it has.
the way, we make a few on the side.
There you go. But you can find that, like I said, all at picolures.com. So, like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp, your Vanguard tackle hook sharp,
Yeah.
and your lures in the water.
Yeah.